YouTube is not easy. Many think this is a great way to earn a little extra on the side, but the reality is it's not that simple. I am not a perfect person. Failure is part of anyone's journey, but for some people it may be daunting to them because they don't want to fail. The fact is we need to start, and I wanted to share some things I wished I knew before I started YouTube, so that maybe it can help you all set off in the right direction for your channels. Many times people just don't want to fail. They don't want to have that risk or even take a chance because they don't want to fail. And I think that is a major factor when it comes to YouTube and starting a YouTube channel. But I want to share in this video some of my mistakes and that I made, but that I can hopefully help you not make the same. As you can see, we're in a little bit of a different setup here today. I'm trying something new out. I don't really know what I'm doing with my office space, but we're figuring it all out. So the fact is, there's a lot of things that we do wrong on YouTube and we don't realize it until we're in the thick of it all. And I wanted to sit down and give you some tips, advice on the things that I did wrong and I would have changed, and that way it can help you starting into YouTube. If you're starting fresh or you're already in the thick of it, maybe it can help you out a little bit more. Okay, so I've got my laptop ready to go here with all the information that I want to share with you. I'm very excited for this video, and I'm not because I know there's some things that I did wrong, but I really want to do this one because this year I want people to start off right. On our YouTube journey, we need to try and we need to try and we need to try again. And I know there's the factor of failure is always going to be there, and that's just it. Failure is not a bad thing, and I want to get that across first and foremost. Like, mistakes and failures are things that you need to learn through and change. Obviously, if you change and move forward past those, you're learning and you're going to grow as a person. So I want to share some of the things that I did when I was on YouTube starting out, because you know, I am not a perfect person, so I want to share my mistakes. The first thing that I did that I really regret doing was I dropped everywhere. So what that means is I put my video links literally everywhere, and I really regret that because in the beginning I could have done so much more with my channel. I needed to let YouTube figure itself out. And in the beginning, that's something that you don't want to do. Obviously, you want to share your channel, but you don't want to put your video links everywhere because of this reason. Because one, it hurts your retention because people will click on and they'll say, okay, well, this is not for me. And they watch 30, 40 seconds and the retention is horrible. The second thing is, obviously, it's kind of like a feeling of spam. So you're just linking your videos everywhere, that specific video that you've uploaded, and it just feels like it's a spammy video. So it's just trying to let the YouTube algorithm do its thing initially. Obviously, you're figuring out your channel, you're figuring out who you are. But if you're doing keyword research and you're doing trending videos here and there, your channel is going to start finding itself and figuring itself out. If you do want to drop a link, then I always advise to my clients or the people that I talk to is to drop your channel link instead. And the reason why I say this is because if you are wanting people to go over to your channel, initially you want them to not hurt your retention. So when they go over to your channel, they'll see your channel and be like, well, I want to be here. I love this channel. And then they'll watch more of your videos. You need to let YouTube find a path for you. And I think if you're link dropping, it's hard for the algorithm to do its thing. It has no idea which audience to exactly push it to, because there's so many different external traffics coming in. Number 2 is branding. Oh my goodness, branding was horrible in the beginning for me. For some reason, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for my branding, and it was constantly all over the place. I think this is one of the harder aspects for many because it's not something that comes naturally to them. It's just not that they don't have all the aesthetics ready to go, right? So I think this is going to be a hard one in the beginning just to figure out. But here is what I would do. Now, many in my industry will have a ton on their banner. I wanted to keep mine simple. I find it fits who I am. That's key to your channel branding. Make it yours. Number 3 is have an email that will fit your channel for life. Now, this is more of an annoyance for me because I made the mistake of using an email that I do not like. I really dislike the email. It's not cohesive with my channel. It's not a big deal. It's not a big mistake, I guess, but it's more of an annoyance for me. But for you, if you're going into your channel, create an email that can live with your channel for life. So if you want to change things up on your channel, you know, you're a lifestyle YouTuber, but you decide to go the tech route, you're not stuck with a lifestyle or a tech email. It's straight up, it's for you, it's for your channel, and it can live with your channel for life. Now, it's not a big deal, it's not a huge deal, but it's just more of an annoyance for me, so I wanted to let everybody else know. Another one that I like to suggest is figure out your first 4 to 8 videos. Now, this is not another huge thing that you need to worry about so much, I guess, but for me, it was just more of the stress of figuring out what I'm gonna do every single week on my channel. So initially, when you're starting out, if you want to do something with a channel, when you have a YouTube channel and you're already in the thick of it, try and figure out your first 4 to 8 videos, or if you're already doing videos, figure out the next 4 weeks of videos. So it just helps you to know this is what's happening for the next 4 weeks. I mean, this is just a stressful aspect, and I don't want the same for everybody else that's out there. I don't want you to feel stressed because each week I have to create a video for my channel. This is one that I had struggled with in the beginning, just figuring out content each time I was going to do a video. So having them already planned and ready to go will relieve some of that stress. Another one was batch filming. That I want to recommend to you is that don't film the night before. So I used to film the day before and edit the day before, and that was so stressful. So stressful, and I was overwhelmed each time I had to go do it because it was like, well, I've got this script, but now I need to film it, but I don't have a time, and it's just so busy, and tons of things that would come up. So I always recommend batch filming your videos. Now, this is a huge time saver. It's going to take away the stress for the rest of the month when it comes to filming. Now, I edit the couple days before each time I have to upload, and it takes a lot of work, but it is the way it is when it comes to editing. But for filming, I'm gonna cut down the time on that end. So I batch film every 2 weeks for videos because I put 2 videos a week up on my channel. And I also go live once a week. So I like to do 2 videos a week, and that means I need to batch film 4 for 2 weeks. That way it gives me some time in case I get sick or, there's just so many things going on. I'm not as stressed. Okay, so another one is don't niche down so much. Now, I'm always talking about on my channel about niching down and narrowing down your channel, but there are a few people out there that will narrow down so much that it's hard for you to even find an audience because it's just such a narrow topic. Now, for me in the beginning, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, so I had 3 different major categories going on in my channel. Then I figured it out, I narrowed it down a little bit more, and now I'm directed towards small YouTubers and just helping them start off with the data, understanding the behind the scenes when it comes to YouTube itself. So I like to focus in on that. Now that's a little bit broader, so I can focus in on live streaming, I can focus in on camera gear, I can focus in on like the mental health of being a small YouTuber. So anything that's around small YouTubers is what I want to talk about. So when you narrow down, don't narrow down so much that it's just so hard to find your channel. Like if you're a baker and you just narrow it down to specifically a cookie or something that you're making each week, that's going to get monotonous and boring for a channel, right? So you need to have other aspects to your channel that people can find you within baking. Maybe you're a baker and you want to direct your focus to other small bakers, like small businesses, small bakers that are out there. That's a great opportunity for you to just talk to that audience because there's a lot of bakers that are starting out. For me, I was going to narrow down so much. I suggest having a category you want to work in, then figure out who your ideal audience is. Is it young moms who want to get fit? Is it young teens understanding how to budget and do their finances? Who is your ideal person you want to focus on? Number 7 is don't be like others. Now this is another major one, and I think a lot of people struggle with because when you're on YouTube, you see a lot of different personalities coming out. There's a lot of big YouTubers that you aspire or are inspired by. And sometimes we meld and mesh into other people. And I think that's really hard for someone new starting out to not be the same as another. There was a lot of Casey Neistats out there way back when he was starting out, right? And people were like, oh, you can't be like Casey. And oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, right? So the key is to figure out your own style, who you are as a person on YouTube. And that obviously this is hard, so it will take time if you're not very aware of who you are in the beginning. My advice is always this: sit down, write out your personality traits. For me, I'm a little goofy and I've always been organized, loves helping people, and I get stressed when the slightest thing goes wrong. So I'm still working on this one. But the important thing is that I am aware and I understand who I am. Now this took me time, it didn't happen overnight, but by doing just these little things, it can help figure out just who you are and want to be on YouTube. Again, do not have to be perfect at this. Number 8 is don't get caught up in the gear. Don't get caught up in this. Don't think that you need to have all the fancy camera gear and all that jazz because you don't have the money necessarily to start out with that. For me, I actually had all the camera gear and such, and I wasn't too worried about about it necessarily, but I did this as a business. I was a wedding videographer and I focused in on a lot of good quality camera gear, and I saved up and I did a lot of extra work on the side to get the equipment that I needed. If you do want the camera gear, then you need to work extra somewhere else, do something else. I actually took on a serving job to get some extra equipment, and that helped me, you know, start off with my business. But for you, not necessarily do you need to do this. You have a cell phone that, you know, 9 times out of 10 will do a great job. You just need to know how to use it properly. And I actually have a video on how to film like a pro using your cell phone. You can check out after this video. We'll link it below for you all. And I brought you closer here because I want to talk to you about this one. Number 9 is don't use screen grabs. Oh my goodness. This is one that I used to do in the beginning because I didn't really understand the whole idea of, you know, how important thumbnails were. And so I used to grab screen grabs from my video shots, and I would just use those. And they weren't specific to the video. So it was really important that you don't do this. So instead of doing that, take time, you know, while you're filming, right after you're filming, or right in the beginning, make sure you take some photos for your videos. So I usually sit down and I'll take maybe 10 photos or 15 photos for my pictures in the future. I have tons of photos in the past, so if none of those worked, I have lots of photos that I've used in the past that can sort of help me out with that. But I always like to take at least 10 to 15, and sometimes it ends up being 30 or more, pictures of myself to get different expressions for the thumbnail. So this is a big mistake I made, and I don't want you making it as well. Don't grab from those videos. Actually take a good picture, good quality picture sitting in front of the window, whatever you need to do to get a good quality picture. Take just a good picture for that thumbnail. Okay, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe because there's lots of more videos coming your way. I'm gonna link a video here that's talking about how to film with your cell phone like a pro, and that's gonna help you with the equipment that you have. I mentioned that in a previous point, so make sure you go check that out after this video. And as always, guys, don't forget to create adventure and live to inspire. Have a good one.